We're learning the topic of drinking on Purim, drinking alcohol on Purim. The halacha in Shulchan Aruch brings openly in Siman Tafresh Tzadik Hey, Chayav inish livsume bepuria ad lo yada ben Arur Aman levaruch Mordechai, which means the simple understanding is that one must drink to the point that he doesn't know the difference between Arur Aman and Baruch Mordechai, which means he gets very drunk. When we take a look at the Tur, the Lashon at the Tur, at the same Siman Tafresh Tzadik Hey, is צריך שישתכר עד שלא ידע בין ארור המן לברוך מרדכי. Over here, the Bet Yosef gives us a little bit more understanding. The Bet Yosef is the one that wrote the Shulchan Aruch, so it's very important to see what he writes here because it gives light also to what he says in the Shulchan Aruch. So first he brings the source. The source is in Gemara, Megillah, Daf Zayin Amud Bet. Rava says such a thing. And Tosfot adds, דלא ידע בין ארור המן לברוך מרדכי, ארורה זרע, שבוכה אסתר, ארורים כל הרשעים, ברוכים כל היהודים. וכן כתב הר"ן. And now he explains the following. ככתב הר"ן, כלומר, דאי בין ארור המן לברוך מרדכי לחוד, אפילו שתה טובה לא טייבה. If you want to say that the only thing you need, what's the explanation in that, that you have to add, ארורה זרע, שבוכה אסתר, ארורים כל הרשעים? He says that if it's just to know the difference between Arur Haman and Baruch Mordechai, אפילו שתה טובה, even if you drink a lot, still you're not going to know, you're not going to get confused with the difference between who's evil over here and who was a tzaddik. You'll always remember such a thing. Therefore, it needs to be more than that. When you have more information, it's more likely that you'll be confused. And then he adds the Ran, the following very, very important point. כתב הר"ן בשם רבנו אפרים, דמהו עובדא דקם רבא בסעודת פורים ושחטא לרב זרע. The Gemara says to us, right after that Gemara of חייב איניש לפסומה בפורי עד דלא ידע, ממרא דרבא, a story with Rava. Rava and Rav Zera were eating together סעודת פורים, they got drunk, and Rava got up and he killed the Rav Zera. Such a story. And the Gemara says that afterwards he revived him, and when he asked him the next year, do you want to go and eat together and drink together, he told him, no, I'm not drinking with you anymore. So, from here, says Rabbeinu Ephraim, it comes out, the conclusion of the Gemara is that we don't go like Rava that said, Chayav inish levsume. We don't go like the opinion that holds that one needs to get drunk, because the Gemara brings right afterwards a story that what harm can drinking do, and therefore that was rejected from the halacha. This is how Rabbeinu Ephraim says. Now, the Bet Yosef brings such a thing. Does he posek like that? Seems like not. But let's see the continuation of the Shulchan Aruch in the Bet Yosef. Katuv be'orchot chaim, chayav inish levsume בפוריה לא שישתכר שהשכרות איסור גמור. Don't think that what it means, chayav inish livsume bepuria, means that one needs to get drunk. No, the Gemara tells us in Ben Sorer Umoreh, Perek Ben Sorer Umoreh, that it's a terrible sin to get drunk. שהשכרות איסור גמור. ואין לך עבירה גדולה מזו. You hear the לשון of the אורחות חיים, the Bet Yosef brings it down. You don't have a sin as great as the getting drunk. Why is it so? שהוא גורם לגילוי עריות שפיכות דמים וכמה עבירות זולתן, which means once a person gets drunk, he could do all the most terrible עבירות, גילוי עריות, שפיכות דמים, he can kill somebody, he can do all, וכמה עבירות זולתן. So therefore, what's the meaning, says the אורחות חיים, of חייב איניש לבסומה, שישתה יותר מלימודו מעט. All you need to do is drink a little bit more than you used to. Now that's a very important point to remember, because if that's what it means, you don't need to get drunk. What you need to do is, normally you drink a certain amount with your food, you drink 1 cup of wine, so you drink now a little bit more. It means levsume. Levsume means the person feels a little bit more high than he usually does. That's all. But it's not that it means that he gets very drunk. This is understanding of the Orchot Chaim, and the Bet Yosef brings this down halacha lemase. Now, in the Shulchan Aruch, he doesn't seem to say much. All he says is chayav inish lefsume bepuria delo yada ben Arur Haman levaruch Mordechai. If you learn it literally, as we explained before, it means that you need to get very drunk to the point you don't know the difference between Arur Haman and Baruch Mordechai. So that means that he's not going like the opinions he brought in the Bet Yosef. But if you say that that's what he meant, what he taught us in the Bet Yosef, that's what he means here, so that gives us a totally different understanding of how much you need to drink, just a little bit. Now, if you take a look at the Mefarshim, they seem to indicate like that as well, because if you take a look at the Rama, which seems to argue on the Shulchan Aruch, he says, like we saw in the Orchot Chaim, יש אומרים שאין צריך להשתכר כל כך, אלא ישתה יותר מלימודו. He brings a kolbo, many Rishonim brings like that. One needs to drink a little bit more than his regular drinking. וישן, ומתוך שישן, אינו יודע בין ארור המן לברוך מרדכי. Once he falls asleep, then he reached that level that he doesn't know the difference between ארור המן וברוך מרדכי. That's all. That's all he needs to do. ואחד המרבה ואחד הממית, ובלבד שכוון ליבו לשמיים. So according to the Rama, all you need to do is drink a little bit more than you do and go to sleep. This is the Lashon of the Rambam as well. The Rambam says that a person should drink to the point he just drinks a little bit and go to sleep mitoch shichruto. From being a little bit drunk, a little bit besum, a little bit high, not much, he goes to sleep and he fulfills that mitzvah. So comes out over here that maybe we can learn that one doesn't need to drink that much. So before we go into all the understanding of what it means over here to drink and why we have to understand, first of all, why did Chachamim tell us such a mitzvah that one needs to drink? What could be the reason of drinking? It's an interesting thing. We don't find in other places that one needs to get drunk, which is considered, as we said before, a terrible sin. So that's a question that we found in few of the Mefarshim. One of them is the Biur Halacha, the Mishnah Berurah, and he asked this question: ואם תאמר, איך יחייבו חז"ל מה שנזכר בתורה והנביאים בכמה מקומות השכרות למכשול גדול? Why Chachamim commanded to do something that's considered a terrible sin? יש לומר, מפני שכל הניסים שנעשו לישראל בימי אחשוורוש היו על ידי משתה. All the miracles throughout the Megillah were done with משתה, a party of drinking. כי בתחילה נטרדה ושתי על ידי משתה והבאה אסתר. First it started with Vashti, Mishteh, that Achashverosh got drunk, he killed Vashti, he brought Esther. That was the beginning of the story. And then, Inyan Aman umapalato היה על ידי משתה. When Aman died, the way it happened was, again, with a Mishteh that Esther made. First day, and then again, Lamachorat. So that was through a Mishteh, and therefore, says the Biur Halacha, לכן חייבו חכמים להשתכר רק כדי שנזכר הנס הגדול בשתיית היין. Chachamim commanded one should drink to remember that miracle of drinking the wine. So, according to the Biur Halacha, the purpose of the drinking is in order
to remember the miracle.
To remember the miracle. Now, there's different explanation over here in different Mefarshim. For example, this that we saw in the Biur Halacha is also for the Abu Dharam and the Chayei Adam to say the same thing. The Sefer Seder Hayom says that since Haman wanted to kill the entire Jewish people, להשמיד, להרוג ולאבד, and he wanted to spill Jewish blood. So therefore, we do the same thing as a kapara for that we drink so much that we are completely fall to the floor from being very drunk. He says שמתוך השמחה ושתייה נשאר כמתים מושכבים בארץ. According to this understanding of the Seder Hayom, one needs to get very drunk to the point that he is like shikor kelot. Right? We explained that the three levels of drinking in Halacha, where it brings down in the Shulchan Aruch in Chot Tfilah, when are you allowed to pray, when you're not allowed to pray. The Halacha says that if a person prays, if a person drank revi'it, shata revi'it, lo yitpalel. You're not allowed to pray anymore. The Rambam says it's not our revi'it. Revi'it is 3 ounces. It's not our yain. It's not our wine, because our wine is very diluted. It's weak. It's their wine that was a little bit stronger. But even today, when you drink a strong alcoholic beverage, you could have a revi'it and that's it. You can't pray anymore until the effect of alcohol goes down. Then you have, but if you prayed, still your tefillah is a tefillah. It's not considered that your tefillah is not considered. Then you have a level higher than that, and that is the level of shatui, a person that is already shikor, is already drunk to the point that he's confused. The Chachamim named it, לא אינו יכול לדבר בפני המלך. He can't talk to the king in an order manner way. which means he has a meeting with a king. His words are not going to come organized to the right way, and therefore he should refrain from talking to a king. If that's the case, in Tefillah also, a king is a king, Molko Shel Olam. One is not allowed to pray in such a way. That is the halacha that tells us that even b'diavad im itpalel tfilato toeva, which means if one prayed in such a level, his prayer is not accepted, he has to pray again. And then you have a third level, that's the most severe level, and that is shikor keshichruto shel Lot, which means it's completely drunk, that he doesn't know anything of what he's doing, and that is already a person that's patur mikol mitzvot, because he has a din of a shoteh. Now, when we're dealing with Yamim Tovim and Purim, says the Maharshal, the Mishnah Berurah brings him down, that since you're drinking of a mitzvah, it's a mitzvah to drink on Yom Tov, en simcha el b'basar ve'yain. So if one drank and he wants to pray, he's allowed to pray if he's in the level of such that eno yachol ledaber b'fnei hamelech. Since his drinking was a drinking of a mitzvah, it would be permitted to pray. And that's why you'll see many people pray on Purim, although they're drunk. But that's as long as they didn't get to shichruto shel Lot, which is already not considered anything but a shoteh. So this is the levels of drinking that one has. And we're saying over here that the Seder Hayom says that one should go to the point that is nish'ar kemetim mushkavim. Torah Moshe, that's a Chatam Sofer, says a different understanding why we drink on Purim. He says that he attaches this to the Rambam in Hilchot Shuvah. The Rambam in Hilchot Shuvah, when he speaks about how to do Shuvah, he teaches us that there's a level of Shuvah that's higher than all levels. That's called Baalei Shuvah Gmurim. He reaches the level of complete Baal Shuvah. What is it? The Rambam explains that a person that sinned in the past, so as long as he didn't come to the test, he's not a Baal Shuvah Gamur, because he never tested himself at the point that he was when he fell in that sin. But if he has that experience over again, and he stands strong to pass that experience and that test, then he's considered the Baal Tshuva Gamur. And the Rambam gives an example that the Gemara gives, that a person that sinned with a woman is not considered Baal Tshuva Gamur unless HaKadosh Baruch Hu would bring him. One is not allowed to bring himself to such a nisayon, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu would bring him to such a nisayon with the same woman, at the same place, at the same timing, which means he has all the same scenario coming to him again, and now he stands very strong and he would not fall. That's called the Baal Tshuva Gamur. So says the Chatam Sofer that since Am Yisrael was sinning by going to that Seudah, as Chachamim tell us that mitoch shenehenu miseudato shel ota rasha, that was the whole reason that HaKadosh Baruch Hu brought the Gzera of Haman, because הם נהנו מסעודתו של אותה רשע. That's how Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai says. So now we have to do teshuvah. It's called teshuvat hamishkal, which means it has to be teshuva on the same level, not less. How does it come to the same level? That we also drink the same way they drank, but they, after they drank in that seudah שנהנו מאותה רשע, says the Chatam Sofer, nishtakru v'nitkalkelu beznut. They were sinning in all kind of averot, and the most terrible averot. So then we want to fix that by drinking, and we don't fall into that averah. The Agaot Yad Ephraim on the Shulchan Aruch writes that the purpose of drinking is sheyeh sharui besimcha kedichtiv veyayin yesamach levav enosh. When a person drinks, he becomes very happy. It lifts him up. ומחמת שיש שרוי בשמך, ייתן תודות להשם על הנס ומתוך הרחבת הדעת. So, that is the purpose of that drinking. And we said that could be that the Gemara actually retract from that halacha, as the Yad Ephraim brings down, because of the story of Rabbi and Rav Zera brought down in Megillah Daf Zayin Amud Bet. That's how Rabbeinu Ephraim says that Ma'u Uvda idchem memra de Rava v'dechayav lefsume velo shapir lemeh vadachi. That's not what we do lemase. But what does the Shulchan Aruch say? Shulchan Aruch seems to say that you do have to drink. Pri Chadash explains, and Pri Chadash is Shulchan Aruch is a Psak Sfaradi, and the Pri Chadash was after the Shulchan Aruch one of the leading Sfaradi poskim that we rely on whatever he says. So after he's mepalpel in this, he says something very important. He concludes and says, "Achshav she'adorot mekulkalim." Today, the generation are ruined, despoiled. They're not the same like it was in the time of the Bet Yosef, because the purpose of drinking is in order to be able to lift yourself, to elevate yourself, to become closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to speak more Divrei Torah, to reveal all the Divrei Torah that you have within you. And usually throughout the year, you're shy and you're closed, and now that you drink a little bit, that opens you up, and it's a beautiful simcha. You feel very, very close and connected to Hashem Yitbarach. But says the Pri Chadash, that's not what's happening now. Only Yechidei Sgula do that. But the majority of the people after the drink, it's dorot mekulkalim. And then he says, ראוי לתפוס דעת רבנו אפרים, ולא לשתות אלא מעט יותר ממה שמורגל ביום טוב, ובזה יוצא ידי חובתו, כיוון שכוונתו לשמיים שלא ייכשל בשום דבר רע. Pri Chadash comes and leads the halacha and tells us that today the generations can't drink the same way as they drank back then, because they dorot mekulkalim, and in order to be yotzei the mitzvah, you drink a little bit more, as the Rama explains, the Orchot Chaim explains, you drink a little bit more than you used to on Yom Tov, on Shabbat, you drink a little bit. So now you drink just a little bit more, you lift yourself, you elevate yourself a little bit more, and with that, you yotzei that mitzvah, and you shouldn't drink more than that, because terrible things could happen when you drink. As the Biur Halacha himself says, that ze לשון המאירי, חייב אדם להרבות בשמחה ביום זה באכילה ושתייה עד שלא יחסר שום דבר. The mitzvah of the day of Purim is to eat and drink and have everything, nothing should be missing, says the מאירי. ומכל מקום, אין אנו מצווים להשתכר ולהפחית עצמנו מתוך השמחה. One should not, the mitzvah of drinking is not to drink in order to be mafchit yourself, to become low. Some people, when they drink, they become low. It reveals who you are. Yatsa yain, nichnas sod. You see people drink all of the sudden, they behave very low. Others, nichnas yain, yatsa sod.
What do you mean low? Sorry.
Low, people behave low. Morality, yeah.
I get an eye.
So he says, מכל מקום אין לנו מצווים להשתכר ולהפחיד עצמנו מתוך השמחה, שלא נצטווינו על שמחה של הוללות ושל שטות. That's not the mitzvah. What the Shulchan Aruch is saying is to elevate yourself, not to lower yourself, אלא בשמחה של תענוג שיגיע מתוכה לאהבת השם יתברך והודעה על הניסים שעשה לנו. וזה לשון החיי אדם. חיי אדם gives us the definition when one should drink and when should one not. כיוון שכל הנס היה על ידי יין, לכן חייבו חכמים להשתכר לפחות לשתות יותר מהגדול כדי לזכור הנס הגדול. He says again, since all the miracle happened throughout the wine as we explained before, therefore we do drink wine on Purim to remember that and to memorize that and to celebrate that. ואומנם היודע בעצמו שיזלזל אז במצווה מן המצוות. If you know yourself that one mitzvah you be mezalzel. Normally you're very, very makpid on certain mitzvot. And now, since you drank, you be mezalzel. You lower yourself, you go downgrade yourself in that mitzvah. For example, netilat yadayim. You're not going to do netilat yadayim. Ubracha ubirkat hamazon. You're not going to say bracha. You're not going to say birkat hamazon. O shelo yitpalel mincha o arvit. O shinhog bekalut rosh. You'll be lightheaded. You'll say the wrong things. You'll do the wrong things. מוטב שלא ישתכר, do not drink. וכל מעשיו יהיו לשם שמיים. This is the words of the חיי אדם brought in the ביור הלכה. So, one should drink, I'm not saying not, one should drink, but how much? A little bit more than needed. Khatam Sofer says that the story of Rabbi and Rav Zera were just designated for them. Why? Rava was from Mazal Ma'adim. Mazal Ma'adim, people that love blood. The Gemara in end of Shabbat says. So the Gemara says that that's it. The Gemara says that if somebody is from Mazal Ma'adim, you should be either shochet or moel. Otherwise, it could be a shofech damim. It could be a murderer, a killer. So when Rava drank, it came out. And he came to hurt Rabbi Zera. Says the Khatam Sofer that if you are from Mazal Ma'adim, be careful. Don't rely on this. But otherwise, you're not from Mazal Ma'adim, you don't have to worry. And Shomer Mitzvah lo yada davar ra. By the way, there's different perushim to this Rava and Rav Zera's story. According to the Maharsha, he says that actually Rava didn't shecht him. Although it says v'shacht, it doesn't mean that he shecht him. Rather, he gave him to drink so much that he was close to dying. Now, drinking alcohol is a dangerous thing. And when a person overdrinks, it could lead him to danger. And that's what happened to Rabbi Zera. He was close to dying. And afterwards, where it says that he revived him, not that he actually brought him back to life, rather he healed him. There's a lashon of the Gemara many times that you say on somebody that you heal, that you mechayeu. Mechayeu doesn't mean that he actually revived him, brought him back to life. Rather, it means that he healed him.
You give somebody a full go. Interesting
perush in that Shulchan Aruch that says, in that Chazal that says, "Chayav inish lefsu me'ad delo yada ben Arur Oman uVaruch Mordechai," is in the Sfat Emet and Rav Israel Salant. They say that it doesn't mean that one needs to get drunk to the point that he doesn't know the difference. No. All it means is that one should be drinking the whole day until he gets to the point of being drunk. Once you get to the point of being drunk, you shouldn't get to that point. It's ad velo ad bichlal, which means you shouldn't get to the point of being drunk. All it's saying over here is that you keep on drinking. How much could you should keep on drinking throughout the day before getting to the point of lo yada, before becoming that drunk. When you get that drunk, you're considered like a shoteh, somebody that doesn't know right from left, doesn't know right from wrong, he doesn't know anything. That's considered a shoteh. And he will be patur mikol ha-mitzvot shebatorah. So if you are patur, definitely you're not chayav in the mitzvot of the Torah. You have to drink to a step before you get to that level, right? So the whole day you have to keep on drinking. You have to be high, but only high enough that you're not that level that you pass the point of you don't know the difference between Arur Aman uVaruch Mordechai. This was the explanation of the Sfat Emet. So we mentioned already the Meiri that says that one needs to be very careful that it's simcha shel mitzvah and not to do it simcha that is pchitut and so on. Aruch HaShulchan also is posek like this, halacha lemaaseh. He says that lemaaseh yesh litrachek min hashichut ובפרט שתיית היין ושחר שבשכרותו יתמלא כי וצואה ורק לשתות מעט יותר מלימודו ולשון ולישן קצת. That is the Aruch HaShulchan, which means Aruch HaShulchan also is posek like all the poskim we saw before, that one only needs to drink a little bit more and not much drinking. Now why do we say all that? Because even if you want to learn the Shulchan Aruch literally and understand that one needs to get drunk, it could be that, as we explained before in the Pri Chadash, that was in his generation. You know why? We explained it yesterday, that in the time of Chazal and in the time of the Shulchan Aruch, the wine was one of the main liquids and drinks that one would drink whenever you would eat. You would eat your meal at night, you would have a glass of wine with it. You would eat lunch, you would have a glass of wine with it. So people they could tolerate a lot of wine because their body got used to it, right? Today, you don't drink wine. When do you drink wine? You drink wine a little bit on Shabbat. Some people don't even drink on Shabbat. They drink on occasions when you go to a wedding and so on. And according to, and the body can't tolerate a lot of wine because our body is not used to tolerating such amount of wine. And it's even worse by teenagers because their body is definitely not used to it. And when you have a teenage that has the opportunity now to drink, because it's Purim, he thinks that it's a mitzvah, it's a great thing, all his friends are drinking, let's have a party, let's have a good time. Once you overdrink, those teenagers, they don't know right from, it's not like an adult that knows, I drank enough, that's it. A teenager feels the good feeling of a little bit high, and sometimes he drinks too much before the body can actually react to it, and it comes to him all at once, and it causes terrible, terrible things to the youngster. Many of them end up in a hospital, and even worse than that. In some of the researches that I saw in the National Institute of Alcohol Abuse, they bring down that each year, approximately 5,000 teens die as a result of alcohol abuse. It includes 1,900 from car crashes. A teen doesn't know, I drank, I can't drive. You feel that you could drive better than when you're sober. 1,600 from homicides, 300 from suicide, others from falling, from drowning, from burns, from all different kind of things. Estimated 88,000 people die annually in the US from alcohol abuse. Men and women, men more than women, but men and women. Alcohol is the third leading cause of death, preventable death, in the US. 88,000. If you take a look around the globe, according to the National Institute of Alcohol Abuse, it's 3.3 million deaths per year. It's unbelievable. It's a whole country that's dying from alcohol. This is how dangerous this is. It's terrible. And you know, the way it works is that when you consume alcohol, it goes to the liver, it goes to the blood, and the liver breaks it down. Now the problem is, when you drink too much, the liver doesn't have enough time and enough strength to break it down. If you drink a small amount, so it can break it down, and that's all. And it gets a little bit to the head, and you pass through it safely. But if you drink too fast or too much, then the liver gets too much for it to work, and therefore you're damaging your liver. You're causing scar over there that could take sometimes weeks and sometimes months, and sometimes it becomes permanent damage to the liver, and sometimes it's a permanent damage also to the brain. Sometimes it's a permanent damage to the stomach lining, and that causes terrible things. So we're talking about teenagers that come in to do so to speak. They think they're making a mitzvah, a great mitzvah, while on the same time they're damaging themselves. Because I saw in my own eyes in previous years kids that collapsed in the middle of partying. From alcohol, they collapsed. People that had seizure, people that had car accidents. I saw this. People that crashed into. They just run into the street. The Chilul Hashem that happens, that besides anything, where kids walk like this and scream around the street. Now you have to understand, if there is a mitzvah, let's say that there is such a mitzvah to drink on Purim. Let's take it to the most severe. There's a mitzvah to drink on Purim, and one should get very drunk. But if you have in the entire Jewish world one kid or one adult that died because of that, or got damaged because of that got hurt of that because of that, it's just not worth it. It's not worth it. It's Jewish life. If you have a Chilul Hashem, and it's a massive Chilul Hashem because the Goyim see it, it's degrading, it's mevuzeh, it's davar that's not tolerable. You have a car accident that causes people to get hurt. Take a look in the hospitals on Purim. It's terrible what goes on over there. So I think the responsible approach to this should be the mitzvah, as the Pri Chadash says, it's not anymore in these generations, because the generation nitkalkelu hadorot. The teenagers should know that and adults as well. Adults should show and give the example to the teenagers that you could drink a little bit. You could drink a little bit. And if the law doesn't allow you to drink, right? What age are you not allowed to drink? Under 18? 21. If you can't drink under 21, you can't drink for a reason, because kids don't know how to drink, they abuse alcohol, and the body can't tolerate it. And even without that, dina de malchuta dina. So right away we saw over here in the Chayei Adam, if you're going to make one avera because of drinking, so it's not worth it. Right away you have an avera called dina de malchuta dina. It's against the law. The law doesn't allow, you don't drink. That's the halacha. And besides all that, we're wrapping up that it could be that the understanding of the Shulchan Aruch, as we saw in the Bet Yosef, is not that one should drink endless, but rather, as the Shulchan Aruch brought from the Orchot Chaim and beforehand as well, that Shulchan Aruch explains what he wants to be posek in Shulchan Aruch. Chayav inish lefsume bepuria lo sheishtaker. It doesn't mean that you have to get drunk. So what does it mean chayav lefsume? Just to get a little bit more than what you do, a little bit more high. שהשכרות איסור גמור ואין לך עבירה גדולה מזו, שהוא גורם לגילוי עריות, שפיכות דמים וכמה עבירות זולתן, עד שישתה יותר, שישתה יותר מלימודו, מעט. A little bit more than your regular.